Hello students, today I am going to continue with the explanation of the fifth chapter of your book Flamingo, that is Indigo, written by Louis Fisher. So first we'll recollect what we read in the last class about this chapter. So in this chapter we had read that how Louis Fisher met Gandhiji in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram, and Gandhiji told him that how he initiated the departure of the British from India, and he called this movement as the first movement against the British rule, and he recalled that it in 1917 at the request of a poor peasant named Rajkumar Shukla, who was one of the sharecroppers from Champaran, visited him, and as he wanted Gandhiji to accompany him to Champaran to help the peasants at his place to get them free from the exploitation of the British landlords. And that time Gandhiji had gone to Lucknow to attend the annual meeting of the Indian National Congress in the year 1916, and Shukla told him that he had come from Champaran to seek his help in order to safeguard the interest of the sharecroppers, and Gandhiji that time told him that he was too busy. So Shukla accompanied him to various places until he consented or agreed to come with him to Champaran. And his firm decision impressed Gandhiji, and he promised him that he would visit Calcutta at a particular date, and then Shukla could come and take him along to Champaran. Then Shukla met him at Calcutta and they took a train to Patna. And then Gandhiji at Patna went to the lawyer Rajendra Prasad's house and they waited for him there. And in order to grab complete knowledge of the whole situation, or to gain complete knowledge about the condition of the sharecroppers at Champaran, he reached Muzaffarpur on 15th of April 1917, and he was welcomed by Professor J.B. Kripalani and his students. Gandhiji was surprised to see the immense support of an advocate of home rule like him, and he also met some lawyers who were already handling the case of sharecroppers. And as per the contract, 15% of the peasants' land holding was to be reserved for cultivation of indigo, and the crop of which was given to the landlord as rent. And this system was very oppressive, and Gandhiji wanted to help those sharecroppers. So he decided to help them, and then he just discussed about this or the condition of these sharecroppers with the lawyers, and when they told him that they charged high fees from these poor sharecroppers, then Gandhiji chided them or rebuked them for charging such a high fees from these poor peasants. So now we'll read further what happens. The next paragraph says most of the arable land in Champaran district was divided into large estates owned by the owned by Englishmen and worked by Indian tenants. Then the chief commercial crop was indigo. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 3/20 or 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. And this was done by the long term contract. So, first we'll see to the hard words in these lines. In this paragraph, the hard word, that is fear stricken, is afraid. Arable land is the land suitable for farming. Tenants, occupants paying rent or cash. Estate means property, and compelled means forced. Surrendered means to give in. Contract means agreement, and indigo is a plant that produces a blue color. So In these lines, the narrator says that most of the cultivable land in Champaran district was owned by the Englishmen, who had divided them into various estates or properties. The peasants were the occupants of these lands, and Englishmen forced the peasants to cultivate indigo on 15% of their land and to give the crop to them as rent. And all this was done through a long term agreement. Then further, the next paragraph says that presently the landlords learned that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. They thereupon obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay them compensation for being released from the 15% arrangement. The sharecropping arrangement was irksome for some peasants, and many signed willingly. Those who resisted engaged lawyers. The landlords hired thugs. Meanwhile, the information about synthetic indigo reached the illiterate peasants who had signed, and they wanted their money back. So now, in these two paragraphs, let's see to the meaning of the hard words. Learn means to come to know. Synthetic means chemical based or artificial. Compensation means payments. Arrangement means process. Irksome means irritating. Resisted means opposed or to be against something. Thugs means cheats. And illiterate means uneducated. So, in these lines, the narrator says that while all this was going on, the landlords came to know about the chemical indigo, which Germany had already started preparing. And what is indigo? It is a blue color dye which was made with chemicals. And then they started demanding money from the poor peasants in order to cancel their agreements, as they no longer required the indigo plantation, as Germany had already started making the chemical indigo. Then the sharecropping system was very annoying. So many of the peasants paid for the cancellation of the agreements. But as the news about synthetic indigo spread and reached the uneducated peasants, they started demanding their money back. Then further, the next paragraph says that at this point Gandhiji arrived in Champaran, and he began by trying to get the facts. First, he visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association, and the secretary told him that they could give no information to an outsider. Gandhiji answered that he was no outsider. Next, Gandhiji called on the British official commissioner of the Tirhut division in which the Champaran district lay, and the commissioner, Gandhi reports, proceeded to bully me and advised me forthwith to leave Tirhut. So, in these lines, the word bully means trying to harm others, considering them to be weak, and forthwith means immediately or at once. So, in these lines, the narrator says that when Gandhiji arrived at Champaran, he decided to gather the facts in order to help the poor peasants, and for this he visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. The secretary didn't answer him because he could not give any information to an outsider. And after this, he went to the commissioner of the Tirhut division. Then Champaran district was under Tirhut division at that time, and the commissioner not only threatened Gandhiji but also suggested him to leave Tirhut immediately. Then further, the next paragraph says Gandhi did not leave. Instead, he proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran, and several lawyers accompanied him. At the railway station, a vast multitude greeted Gandhi. He went to a house and, using it as headquarters, continued his investigations. A report came in that a peasant had been maltreated or ill treated in a nearby village. Gandhi had decided to go and see. The next morning, he started out on the back of an elephant, and he had not proceeded far when the police superintendent's messenger overtook him and ordered him to return to the town in his carriage. Gandhiji complied. That means he refused. and the messenger drove Gandhi home, where he served him with an official notice to quit Champaran immediately. And Gandhiji signed a receipt for the notice and wrote on it that he would disobey the law, the order. So, in these lines, first we'll see to the hard words. The word accompanied means go along with someone. Multitude means a large number of people. Investigations means inquiries. Maltreated means ill treated. And superintendent is the manager or a supervisor. Overtook means went ahead of him. And complied means followed or obeyed. So, in these lines, the narrator says that though Gandhiji was threatened by the commissioner, but still he did not leave the place, and then he went to Motihari, which was the capital of Champaran, and he was joined there by several lawyers. And when they reached the station, they were welcomed by a large number of people, and he then went to a house which was later converted into his headquarters, from where he carried on all his movement against the Britishers. Then he started his inquiry into the matter, and Gandhi decided to visit a nearby village, and when he came to know about the incident of ill treatment with a peasant, he was on his way on an elephant when the superintendent's messenger stopped him and ordered him to return back to the town. Gandhiji followed him, and the messenger took him back to his home. He was then served a notice which ordered him to quit this movement and return back. Then Gandhiji received the notice and signed a receipt on which he wrote that he would not obey the order, that official order. Then further, in the next paragraph, he says that in consequence, Gandhiji received the summons to appear in the court next day. All night Gandhiji remained awake, and he telegraphed Rajendra Prasad to come from Bihar with influential friends, and he sent instructions to the ashram. He wired a full report to the viceroy, and morning found the whole town of Motihari black with peasants. They did not know Gandhi's records in South Africa, and they had merely heard that a Mahatma who wanted to help them was in trouble with the authorities, and their spontaneous demonstration in thousands around the courthouse was the beginning of the liberation from the fear of British. So, in these lines, the word influential means powerful, wired means telegraphed, merely means hardly or only, authorities means officials or power, spontaneous means voluntary or unforced, demonstrations means protest, courthouse means court building, and liberation means release. So, in these lines, the narrator says that as a result, Gandhi got summons to appear in court next day. Gandhiji was not able to sleep the whole night just because he was thinking about the poor peasants and how to help them. And then he telegraphed Rajendra Prasad and asked him to come to Bihar and get some powerful people along. And then he sent some guidelines to the ashram and also telegraphed the whole matter to the viceroy. And next morning, Motihari was full of peasants as they wanted to support Gandhiji. But none of them knew about his works in South Africa, that what he did in South Africa. They only knew that there was a Mahatma who wanted to help them and was in trouble due to the British officials. And then they started gathering in front of the courthouse, and this incident was their attempt of setting themselves free from the fear of the Britishers, which Gandhiji wanted. Then further, the next paragraph says the officials felt powerless without Gandhiji's cooperation. He helped them regulate the crowd. He was polite and friendly, and he was giving them concrete proof that their might hitherto means earlier or previously, dreaded and unquestioned, could be challenged by Indians, and the government was baffled. Baffled means confused. The prosecutor requested the judge to postpone the trial, and apparently the authorities wished to consult their superiors. So, in these lines, the narrator says that as the crowd had gathered in front of the court building, it became very difficult for the officers to control the whole crowd or mob, and they had to take Gandhiji's help to control the people or control the crowd. And then Gandhiji very politely told the officials that they would misuse their power, that if they misuse their power, then there were chances that they would have to face a revolt from the Indians. And as the situation was getting rough, or it was getting tougher, or it was getting out of control, the lawyer requested the court to postpone the trial by some days. And the authorities decided to first consult the higher authorities. Then further, the next paragraph says that Gandhiji protested against the delay. He read a statement pleading guilty. He was involved. He told the court in a conflict of duties. On the one hand, not to set a bad example as a lawbreaker. On the other hand, to render humanitarian and national service, for which he had come, and he disregarded the order to leave, not for want of respect for lawful authority, but in obedience to the higher law of our being, the voice of conscience. And he asked the penalty due. And the magistrate announced that he would pronounce sentence after a 2-hour recess, and asked Gandhiji to furnish bail for those 120 minutes, and Gandhiji refused. The judge released him without the bail. So this was the first victory. So in these lines, first see to the hard words. Protested means objected or disapproved. Pleading means the action of making an emotional or earnest appeal to someone. Guilty means at fault. Conflict means to be against someone. And humanitarian means concerned with human welfare. And conscience is the sense of right and wrong. And magistrate means civil officer who administers law. And recess is the break. And bail is an amount of money that a person who has been accused of a crime pays to the law court so that they can be released until their trial. So in these lines, the narrator says that Gandhiji objected against the delay in the proceedings of the case, and he read a statement in front of the court in which he accepted his fault in a very humble manner, and he said that he was not a lawbreaker and didn't want to go against the law, but his duty towards humanity was a greater, or it has a greater influence on him, and it forced him to do so. And he refused to leave the town because he wanted to help the sharecroppers or the poor peasants, as it was his moral duty. The magistrate asked him to arrange for bail because he was going to give his judgment after a 2-hour long break. Gandhiji refused to seek bail, and later on he was released without it. Then further, the next paragraph says, when the court reconvened, the judge said he would not deliver the judgment for several days. Meanwhile, he allowed Gandhiji to seek bail, and later on he was released without it, to remain at liberty. Then Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazrul Haq and several other prominent lawyers had arrived from Bihar. They conferred with Gandhi, and that what would they do if he was sentenced to prison? Gandhi asked. Why, the senior lawyers replied, they had come to advise and help him, and if he went to jail, there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. So in these lines, the word reconvene means to start again after a small break. Liberty means free, and prominent means well known or important. Conferred means granted. So in these lines, the narrator says that when the court proceedings restarted, the judge refused to deliver any judgment for many days to come, and then he allowed Gandhiji to remain free And some well known lawyers like Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, and Maulana Mazrul Haq came from Bihar to help and advise Gandhiji. And Gandhiji asked them that if he was sentenced to jail, then what would be their course of action? And one of the senior lawyers replied that they were there to help him out, and if he was sentenced to jail, then they would return back, as they would have no one to help or no one to give advice to. Then further, the next paragraph says, what about the injustice to the sharecroppers? Gandhi demanded. The lawyers withdrew to consult. Rajendra Prasad has recorded the upshot of their consultations. They thought amongst themselves that Gandhiji was totally a stranger, and yet he was prepared to go to prison for the sake of the peasants. And if they, on the other hand, being not only residents of the adjoining districts, but also those who claim to have served these peasants, should go home, it would be a shameful desertion. They accordingly went back to Gandhiji and told him they were ready to follow him into jail. The battle of Champaran is won, he exclaimed. Then he took a piece of paper and divided the group into pairs and put down the order in which each pair was to quote arrest. So first we'll see to the hard words. The word injustice means unfairness. Withdrew means left. Upshot means result or conclusion. Consultations means discussion. And desertion means action of leaving a place or organization. So in these lines the narrator says that when Gandhiji came to know about their decision, he asked them to help the sharecroppers who were facing unfairness. Rajendra Prasad and other lawyers concluded that if Gandhi could go to jail for the people of their area, although he was a stranger, then they should also follow him, as they had always claimed to serve the peasants and fought their legal battles too. And then they decided that if Gandhiji went to jail, then they would follow him to the jail. And then on hearing this, Gandhiji assured them that their struggle for Champaran peasants had been won, just because all the lawyers they all now joined hands with Gandhiji and decided to help him. Then he divided the group into pairs of two and made a sequence in which they had to voluntarily surrender in the court. So this is all for today, and then we'll continue this chapter in the next class. Thank you and goodbye.